In this video, I'm going to be ranking every single style in Blue Lock Rivals. Before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's hit 10k and let's get right into the video. Alright, the first ability we're going to be going over is Asagi, and this is arguably the worst ability in the entire game. The main thing it really has going for it is the direct pass, but now that we got Sade, there really isn't much of a use for direct pass anymore, and direct shot is probably the weakest shot in the entire game. Another really big weakness is Awakening. I know a lot of the times you aren't really going to get Awakening in a full lobby, so when you do get it, it's kind of special, but this Awakening is completely horrid. The only real strength you get off this Awakening, to my knowledge, is a speed boost, and that's about it. So basically, if you want this buff, you can just get a float that'll give you a better speed boost. I think it might make your shot better, but even here, like, this goalkeeper is able to easily block my shot. I can't turn it. Like in this clip, I tried to turn it to like fake him out. You can't do that with direct shot, which makes it almost impossible to score against a confident goalkeeper. So I personally just wouldn't recommend running Asagi. The next ability is going to be Chigiri, and this is honestly one of the most mid abilities in the entire game, because you can do stuff like what I'm doing in this clip, right? And it looks crazy overpowered, but the big problem is it only really works against people who don't know what they're doing. If you're playing against a good defender, they're just going to circle you and your speed boost is going to run out, and it's basically going to feel like you have no ability. Another really big problem with Chigiri is the fact that other abilities, like for example Shido, doesn't actually have a way to get himself close to the box. However, with his shots, you're just able to score from so far away that it doesn't really matter. One thing I will say for Chigiri that makes it pretty good in my opinion is the fact that for defense, Chigiri isn't terrible. A lot of the times, like in this clip, as you guys can see, I tried to self-pass to myself. If you're going against somebody who is self-passing on Chigiri, you're able to actually use your speed boost to just steal the ball, and I think that's pretty good. Tireless is also really nice just because, you know, a lot of the times you are going to run out of stamina, so with this, you're going to be kind of set on that. The next main thing I want to talk about is Chigiri's Awakening, and honestly, I think he has one of the weakest Awakenings in the entire game, and this is one of the main reasons why he's ranked so low. His Awakening just gives you 3 flash step dashes, and honestly my biggest problem with these is the fact they don't really add anything to his main kit. Like, he already has a way to get past defenders with Speedster and Tireless, so having these dashes doesn't really make much of a difference. I think something cooler that they could do with Chigiri would be adding Golden Zone like he has in the manga. Popping Awakening places like a golden circle in the map somewhere, you use Speedster and Tireless to get into that circle, and then when you shoot, you get like a stronger goal. I think that would honestly be really cool, and it would make Chigiri a lot more unique and better. But let's move on to the next one. Alright, now we're on to Batra. Batra has Nutmeg and Seal. Nutmeg honestly isn't that bad, but it's kind of inconsistent. As you guys can see with that clip, sometimes you can easily lose the ball with Nutmeg, which I feel like makes it kind of worse in my opinion, especially compared to Rin or Say, but it still isn't that bad. And the next move you have is Steal, and this is basically just a secondary dash. Steal is honestly really versatile. You can either use it at the start like I am here, and most people just don't expect it, and you basically just get a free ball, or you can use it to bait out your opponent's dribble. Next thing I want to talk about is Batra's Awakening, and if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I feel like Batra does definitely have one of the weakest Awakenings in the game. You get an ability called Scissors, and this is just another dribble tech. I'm going to be honest with you though, I feel like Scissors is kind of weak, and this is part of the reason why Batra just isn't that good, and that's partially just because Scissors isn't really that useful when it comes to scoring goals. Like, you can get past defenders, but like in this clip, I had like their entire team behind me. I decided to just go back and showcase it for the video in case anybody's curious, because to be honest, I spent a long time trying to get this clip. But yeah, honestly speaking, Batra isn't that crazy. Scissors is decent, but like again, Rin and Say get that shit in their base, so what's like really special about Batra? There's no other reason to use him. You can honestly argue for Chigiri being better. I just prefer Batra, but let's move on to the next one. Alright, Baro's biggest strength is the fact that its 2 skills synergize with each other pretty well. King's Run takes you right to the net, and King's Impact is a free goal almost every single time. I will say the only time that Baro is kind of bad is against good player goalkeepers, because against the AI, it's always just going to let in King's Impact. Like, it's never going to be able to block it. But against player goalkeepers, they're going to be able to see that the shot is going directly where you're looking. Like, you can't turn it at all, kind of like direct shot. So all they have to do is get right in front of you. That's why when you're using Baro, I would honestly recommend shooting from a bit further back. Like, I'm going to show you guys an example in this clip. I don't use King's Impact here because I know he's going to like read my shot. I'm not going to lie, I don't get it in either way because he still read my shot. Like, I should have feinted that. But here I shoot Baro's King's Impact from a bit further, and he isn't able to block it. Originally, I'm not gonna lie, even if I shot King's Impact, that guy still probably would have blocked it. Now we're on to Baro's Awakening, and he honestly has one of the strongest Awakenings in the entire game. So first off, King's Impact gets basically a half cooldown. It's almost just 2 free goals, I'm not gonna lie. You get King's Run into King's Impact, which is a free goal, and then Charge into King's Impact, which is a free goal. So basically, you just get 2 King's Runs, except Charge is a lot stronger. If somebody is in front of you, they also get ragdolled, like you guys can see in this clip. Still honestly gets overshadowed by other Awakenings because again, against player goalkeepers, you're still not guaranteed a free goal. However, when you're playing against AIs, it's still pretty good. And in public servers, for the most part, you are still just able to get 2 free goals. I think if Baro had a better base, he might honestly be higher on the list just off of this awakening. But for now, I'm just going to leave him at his current spot. Alright, for the number 4 spot, we have Nagi, and honestly, I think Nagi's one of the best abilities in the entire game. When it comes to being a support, Nagi's already S tier. As you guys can see in this clip, you're able to feed your teammates pretty well with the Trap move, and Trap is also a really good defensive move because you're able to intercept passes or actually receive passes from your teammates. And another big highlight in Nagi's kit is Dash, and this is either a gap closer or it can serve as a second dribble to basically just avoid your opponent's tackles. I will say, I'm not sure if this is a bug that's been corrected now because honestly I don't really play Nagi as much, but originally with Dash it does not give you iframe, so if they hit you with the tackle while you're dashing, you're still going to lose the ball. And another really big plus side with Nagi is Trap basically serving as a free goal against AI goalkeepers. Trap basically just gives you a free penalty as well, so you're able to feint your shots against player goalkeepers as well, so this is basically a free goal against 2 different types of players, if that makes sense. And Nagi's awakening is really good as well. You get I am Nagi, which is a cool little animation shot that is basically a guaranteed goal against players and AIs. I think Nagi's honestly one of the best weapons in the entire game. And also ignore the fact that I missed this shot, because when people take this shot, and I want you guys to remember this because this happened to me a lot, take it from a bit back. So yeah. Alright, now we're on to the number 3 spot, and this is going to be going to Shido. And honestly, I think Shido is probably one of the best abilities in the entire game due to the fact that both of his abilities are really overpowered for scoring goals. You have Dragon Drive and Dragon Header. Both of these you're able to shoot from relatively far away, and Dragon Drive in my opinion is really powerful for going against players. In this clip I use it to snipe the AI goalkeeper, but against an actual player you're able to basically like move your camera around and they don't really know where you're going to shoot. So a lot of the times you're able to actually mess with people and actually play mind games to get a pretty easy goal. Dragon Header is also really nice because it is incredibly fast. I would honestly not recommend feinting Dragon Header just because it has a really fast release, so you might just end up completely missing the net, but instead just shooting it where you want to shoot it. The move is already fast enough to the point where most people just can't react to it. Alright, now we're on to Shido's ultimate, and this is a pretty easy ultimate to explain. Pretty much all you get is Big Bang Drive, which is just the bicycle kick that Shido does in the anime. This is really nice for scoring goals. Again, like the previous goal thing, like Nagi's shot, I would also recommend shooting this from far away just because close up you're just going to end up missing it. It's going to go too high. Aside from this, something important to know with Shido is you are going to need to have some sort of way to actually get close to the net. You can either get like a pass from your teammates like a Sei or even like an Isaki, or you can just dribble to the net like I do. I usually get like I think 2 to 3 crash passes up, and then against AI you can easily score it off Dragon Header or Dragon Drive. Alright, now we're on to Sei, and Sei has 2 abilities, Magic Turn and Perfect Pass. Magic Turn, if your opponent does not have a central midfielder or anybody on defense, you basically just get to net for completely free. It's really overpowered just because of the distance you travel. And the next thing, which is Perfect Pass, this is a really nice move to combo with Shido or somebody with a shot. You can usually distract the enemy defenders and get them open with the ball for a free goal like in that clip. And now we're on to the awakening, and Sei has a pretty crazy awakening as well. He gets a new move called Heel Flick and a goal, which is probably the most disrespectful thing in this entire game. Like, I'm gonna be honest, bro, sometimes I just be letting Sei players get past me so they don't shoot this. And also I did score this from half court, like this is from my side of the field. This probably isn't going to work against a player, so I would be careful with that, but against AI it's always just going to be a free goal no matter what, which is pretty crazy, I'm not going to lie. Of course, the next notable thing Sei has in his ultimate is his base move Magic Turn, and we also do get Heel Flick, which is just a move that lets us travel a bit further. I think Sei deserves his position as the second best ability in the game right now. The only thing holding him back is the fact that he doesn't really have a shot. Alright, speaking of shots, this is probably the best shot in the entire game. We got Rinitoshi, so he has curve shot and opposite direction, which I'm using right now. Opposite direction is just your basic dribble move. This stuns your opponent and lets you get past them. Or like in this clip, I was able to use it to create a new angle to score the goal. And along with opposite direction, we do get curve shot, which is arguably one of the best shots in the entire game because you're able to score goals from angles that you normally would not be able to score a good goal from. Against player GKs, this is especially effective because a lot of times they just aren't going to expect you to shoot from there. I feel like one of the things that makes Rin better than Sei and Ryusei is the fact that you have a dribble that lets you get past people and you have a shot that lets you shoot from relatively far away. And aside from that, his ultimate is also probably the best best. So you have 2 dribble moves opposite direction like in your base, and you get center of gravity, and along with that you get score, which is like this cool little animation that is basically a guaranteed goal. I don't even think player goalkeepers can guard this. You're able to score from halfway across the map. Like the main reason why I decided to put Rin at the #1 spot in this list is primarily just due to the fact that he's able to kind of do everything. But with that being said, this is also somewhat of a disadvantage because you don't really excel at anything specifically. Like with Say, he's kind of more of a support role, whereas Shido is just meant for scoring goals. Since Rin is able to do both of those and he only has 2 weapons, he isn't really able to prioritize one thing over the other, if that kind of makes sense. But overall, if you're playing by yourself, I would still recommend picking up Rin. Literally just pop opposite direction, dribble up a bit, and then use your curve shot, and it's basically a free goal every time. Alright, before I end this video off, there is one last thing I want to mention, and that is, honestly, I think some of these rankings could be interchangeable. For example, I feel like Chigiri might be better. Like I was playing a bit today, and I honestly think Chigiri is kind of underrated, but at the same time, I also think Vara could go lower. It kind of depends on what skill level you're at. I still think for most people that are starting out, I would recommend picking up Vara, but if you're a bit experienced and you can't roll any of the better ones, then honestly, I think Chigiri isn't the worst option, though I ain't gonna lie, he is still kind of situational. And I might, in the future, move Bachira down a bit. Right now, I still kind of like him, but to be honest, I am kind of like leaning towards Chigiri more. I'm not gonna lie, but I kind of just wanted to get that out at the end of the video. Let me know what your guys' rankings are in the comments below, and yeah, see ya.